The Detroit Red Wings, another team that is going to be beating at the door, as they have been for the past couple of seasons. It's the players for 9 consecutive years. Their last series win was the opening round in 2013 against Anaheim. That's how far back we go. Offense, 22nd overall. Penalty killing, 32nd last, 70.1%. And they only had 2 shorthanded goals for, which was second fewest in the league. On the positive side, power play ranked 4th at 27%. Big move that they make during the course of the offseason, acquiring goaltender John Gibson in a trade with Anaheim in exchange for goaltender Peter Mrazek and draft picks in 2026 and 2027. They also signed James Van Riemsdyk as a UFA from Columbus. Mason Appleton, good bottom 6 forward, center, signed for 2 years, $2.9 million AAV from Winnipeg. And Travis Hamonic signs on 1 year, $1 million from the Ottawa Senators. So when we look at those players and you couple that with some of the signings that they have made, the re-signings of Albert Johansson, a defenseman, Jonathan Berggren, right wing, Elmer Soderblom as a left wing, and William Lagesson, a defenseman, who re-signed as a UFA with the team. Does this drought end this year? It's not my Motown question for you necessarily, but when you look at this movement, it's very marginal by General Manager Steve Yzerman.
It is marginal. There isn't a lot of big names, but if John Gibson can get to the form that he had with the Anaheim Ducks, where he was their franchise goaltender there for quite a long time, if he can bring that to Detroit, you might see a whole different Detroit Red Wings team. Now, the penalty killing is a real problem. Obviously, they're going to have to fix that. But I would say that this season and how they do is going to revolve around their goaltending and John Gibson. If you look at their adds and drops, I know we haven't gone through them all, but there's an upgrade from Gibson from Mrazek. Tarasenko gets replaced by James Van Riemsdyk, if you want to think about it, on the power play. And Alex Lyon signed in Buffalo. Jeff Petrie leaves. That's a loss, I think, for Detroit, albeit not in the top 3 defensemen, but still a loss for them.
But does Hamonic cover that, though?
Yeah, perhaps he does. You're right. Hamonic does come in and cover for the loss of Petrie. So you've got that covered. So I don't see them being a lot better. But if Steve Yzerman and his group think that the reason that they didn't make it was ultimately goaltending, you might have found the right piece you need. Remember one thing, everybody that's listening. Pat Verbeek and Steve Yzerman are best of friends. They worked together for a long time. I don't think either one would hose the other guy. So I think that probably Pat Verbeek thought it was time for Gibson to get a change of atmosphere. And he called Stevie and said, I'll trade you Gibson, because I would think that they're in different conferences. It's not going to hurt them. So we'll take a look and see when we get to the Pacific Division what Anaheim's got.
The club is listed as number 5 in terms of top prospect pools in the NHL. Players to look at that may crack the lineup this year: Carter Mazur, bottom 6 forward; Nate Danielson, possible second line center; and Sebastian Cossa, who is a goaltender who played 1 game last season. But let's now look at their offense. Lucas Raymond, 80 points last year, terrific season. Alex DeBrincat, 39 goals. Dylan Larkin, 30 goals, 40 assists, 70 points. And God, I think so many people are wanting to pull for him to get in the playoffs finally. And Patrick Kane had 21 goals. But as we've seen, the movements have been marginal, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of room for error with the offense, that if one of their key guys goes down, it could be 10 years since making the playoffs last.
Absolutely. They're on the bubble. There's no doubt about it. And as we just finished saying with Montreal and Ottawa, it doesn't get any easier when you've got some teams, and we're going to get to Boston in a minute. But when you've got some teams, Buffalo's going to be fighting again to get in there after their 14-year drought. It's not going to get any easier. And the biggest thing is you've got a team like the Rangers and the Bruins, who in those big cities, original 6 markets, that's a disaster when you miss the playoffs. So it's going to be hard. And Detroit didn't make a lot of big moves, but they made a really important move by getting Gibson.